We're recording. Awesome. So guys, I went back into the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I just want to show you this book. This is so Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Now, if I hold it up, pages start falling out of it, right? This is the other part that just fell out. So this thing is a mess. And it's kind of cool because that tells me that I've read this many, many times, right? And I'm sharing that with you to share that as I was preparing for today's call, I went all the way back to the beginning of the book. And I'm going to share something with you that I don't think we've shared on this call in the last year. And we're coming up on a year of doing these calls, which is incredible. And there's 51 of you on the call right now. Let me just start by sharing gratitude with you. I'm still amazed that you guys show up every day. It just blows my mind. I'm like, sooner or later, they're going to get sick of me. Sooner or later, they're going to stop showing up. But you guys haven't. I'm grateful for that. I'm on page 35, and we're going to talk about modeling. And first of all, I'm going to share something from my notes that Gary Keller says in the book and setting up this conversation. And here's what he says. He says, people have lived before you, and you might be wise to slow down for just a second and figure out what they learned on their journey. Now, my note to you, not in the book, is you may get to a point where you have learned the basics. Maybe you have even mastered them, but you will never get to where you know everything. You will never get to where you know everything there is to know, and you can't find anyone succeeding at a greater level. I won't. I'm 19 years in this business, and I don't know everything there is to know. I'm still learning. I learn from you guys. And now I'm going to go to page 35, and I'm just going to share something with you that Gary shares in this book. He says, starting at the bottom of the page, in 1987, when our young company was faced with a collapsed economy, up to that point, he's talking about an event in his life that was a breakthrough moment for him. It was an E to P moment for him. And he says, up to that point, we had been successful on certain levels, but there were now some big challenges that were holding us back. In the end, I found that I didn't have all the answers. Guys, I don't have all the answers. I walk every day, you know that. And it usually takes me about an hour and a half to finish my walk. And the entire hour and a half this morning, I'm on the phone with 2 different agents in my office, asking them questions, starting at 6:30 this morning and ending at 8. And I'm learning from them because I don't know everything there is to know. And I don't have all the answers. I do this a lot. Now I lost my place. There it is. In my opinion, our growth till then had been sustained through sheer hard work. That's E, being entrepreneurial. Then the market turned sour, and we were faced with a new and very real ceiling of achievement. That was the year I read Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins and finally heard my professor. And he's speaking about his professor when he was at Baylor University. And then he goes on to share, here's what I learned. And these are the 4 major points that I have for you today. Number 1, success leaves clues. Pay attention. Sometimes the answers are right in front of you. You've heard, don't sweat the small stuff. And I'm telling you, that's exactly what you should do. You should sweat the small stuff, because the small stuff added up adds up to the big stuff. And the answers are in that small stuff. Don't ignore what's right in front of you. Success leaves clues that people who produce outstanding results do specific things to create those results. Pay attention. The answers are right in front of you. The second passage from Anthony Robbins' book is actions are the source of all results. Now, how many times have we talked about that on this call? For those of you who are in the Market Center in Coral Springs, I've been working with you for almost 6 years. How many times have you heard actions are the source of all results? That's your chance. Talk to me. Talk to me. So I mean it. Talk to me.
So many times.
You've heard it over and over and over again, maybe to the point where you've tuned me out. I mean, when you hear the same thing over and over again, you guys were children. Remember when your parents told you the same thing over and over again? You're like, yeah, I know.
Yep.
Maybe you're not hearing it because you've heard it so many times and you're thinking, John, that just can't be true. There has to be another answer. I don't want to work for the results. I want to pay for the results. Process of discovering exactly and specifically what people do to produce a specific, there I go again, Pacific, and Monica's not even here to hear me say that. This process of discovering exactly and specifically what to do to produce a specific result is called modeling. So one of the agents that I spoke to on this phone this morning for 45 minutes is building a team, and she's crushing her real estate business. I mean, so far through the end of February, she's at $8 million in closed business, 2 months into the year. And she's saying, John, I want to build a team. I want to build a team. I want to build a team. I need your help. I'm like, cool, let's do this. And one of the suggestions I gave her, one of the questions I gave her was, who have you reached out to who's doing what you want to do? Who have you reached out to ask, what are you doing? How did you do it so that you can model what they've done? And her answer was, I haven't. And I said, cool, here's 3 people I would call. And I gave her the name of 3 agents who are running very large teams at a high level. And I said, talk to them, ask them how they did it, and then just go do what they did. Passage number 3. Modeling is the pathway to excellence. When I got my real estate license in 2002, I started interviewing with companies to decide who I was going to go work for or with. And I chose the Gary and Nikki team. Now, I didn't choose the Gary and Nikki team to be a part of their team so that they could provide me with leads and they could provide me with support, even though that's what they did. I chose the Gary and Nikki team because they were running the largest, most successful real estate team in our market at the time. And I wanted to do what they were doing. In other words, I wanted to build that team for myself. But I also knew the best way for me to learn how to do that is just go be on their team and watch what they do. And I was a part of their team for 4 years. And then I went out and Monica and I built the Dietz team, modeling everything the Gary and Nikki team did well. And it worked. Shocker, right?
Yep.
The movers and shakers of the world are often professional modelers. Now, I don't do a lot of things well. Matter of fact, I do a lot of things really poorly. But one of the things that I do well is I model success. When I decided that I was going to become a team leader in 2015, I chose to get in business with Alan Waxman as the OP in the Coral Springs Market Center. Now, I didn't choose the Coral Springs Market Center because I wanted to move to Coral Springs. For all of you in South Florida, don't get offended. In reality, I didn't want to live in South Florida. I wanted to move north. I was looking for a team leader opportunity in North Carolina or Tennessee or North Georgia. The very last thing I wanted to do was move to South Florida. Why? Because it's hot here. And I was looking to get north into a cooler environment. And I even told Alan, where are you? When he called me and talked to me about becoming a team leader. And he said, I'm in Coral Springs. And my response was, where's Coral Springs? I had never heard of the city before. And he said, Fort Lauderdale. And I said, well, that's south. I don't want to go south. I want to go north. He said, John, come talk to me. Just talk to me. Now, the more I talked to Alan, the more I realized this guy has been a team leader at the highest level for 14 years. This guy is a Hall of Fame team leader. And if I want to be the best team leader in Keller Williams, I can learn how to do that by partnering with Alan Waxman, because I can model what he did in order to become the best team leader in this company. I move into Coral Springs. And that's why I moved to Coral Springs, in order to model Alan Waxman. The same reason I joined the Gary and Nikki team, in order to model what they did. Now, 6 years later, I'm still on that journey, and I'm still modeling what Alan did in order to become a Hall of Fame team leader. By the way, I get it wrong a lot. So I'm learning and growing, and I'm still modeling. In other words, I'll never get to the point where I know everything there is to know. I'll always be able to learn something new. Is this resonating with you? Are you hearing my message?
Yes.
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 Okay. People who have mastered the art of learning everything they can by following other people's experience rather than their own. I'm going to read this whole passage to you again because it's super important. The movers and shakers of the world are often professional modelers, people who have mastered the art of learning everything they can by following other people's experience rather than their own. So Michael Topo, can I talk to you for a moment? I'm on page 36 for those of you who are asking. Michael Topo, can I talk to you for a moment?
Yes, sir.
Have you learned from me?
John, I accredit 95% of whatever I know from you.
Are you modeling what I did as a real estate agent in order to build your successful real estate business?
Poorly, but yes.
You are a work in progress, my friend, just like I am. Is it easy, Michael Topo?
Never.
Matter of fact, it's hard, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, for me too, my friend. For me too. I apologize daily for screwing up. Because I have to. Because I should. Because I'm paying attention. Because I'm looking at the little things. Passage number 4. To model excellence, you should be a detective, an investigator, someone who asks lots of questions and tracks down all the clues to what produces excellence. It's 8:53. Talk to me. What did you hear? What did I say? What did I not say that you should be paying attention to? Read between the lines, please. Who moved my cheese? The writing is on the wall. Please pay attention.
Stop
John,
wasting.
some of the biggest mistakes that I have made are, thinking I know better than somebody else who's gone before me and just doing the old throw it up against the wall and see if it sticks approach.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too, Valerie. Me too. Yeah, recruit. Don't slow down, John. Just keep on recruiting and you'll figure it out. No, that's not true. It's not working.
Make it up in volume.
How about slow down, ask more questions, pay attention, and make adjustments in order to get back on track.
John?
Diane?
So obviously, you know, we both know that due to my quick actions and not slowing down, it can cause consequences beyond my control, beyond anyone's control. And so obviously that's one example, because it's the same thing like not reading my emails and just sort of being in 10 different places and not focused because it wasn't time blocked correctly, or just so busy and not really, you know, organizing my time better. So that screams at me. In addition to that, I think that these rules, which we, you know, it's interesting as a parent, we're constantly telling our kids, you know, what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. And yet, you know, we're so easy, you know, do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. So I love it because it's a reminder of our actions that can create consequences that are just painfully sometimes hard to get out of.
Yeah. Good stuff. What else, guys?
Behavior.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Me, it just screams modeling behavior. You know, looking at, you know, like you said, success leaves clues, and people that are performing at the highest level are great modelers, not models, but modelers. And that's just really important. I know that the reason I decided to join Keller Williams was because I wanted to work with the best. I wanted to work with the #1 broker in the world, and I wanted to not just have local reach, but have global reach. And so not really knowing all of what Keller Williams was, because I continued to discover. But that was the point. I wasn't interested in someone giving me leads. I wasn't interested in a whole bunch of different things. I wanted to work with #1, the most globally recognized brand, because I felt that's the place where I would learn the most, and that's the place where I would grow the most.
Good stuff. Thank you, Sarah.
Can I,
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yes. Go ahead.
willing to change,
Hmm.
right? Willing to grow. You know, I think you have to take a self-inventory of the actions that you're doing, and you've got to be honest with yourself and look at what's creating results and what isn't. Going back to, you know, success leaves clues, right? So I think you had mentioned to model excellence, you must be a detective and ask questions. Well, you should be doing that about your own efforts as well, right? You and I had a conversation, either it was late last year or early this year, so that we can try to build 2021 out, right? And I had a shift, didn't I? In try to
You
create,
did.
right?
Yep.
So, yeah, that's all I got to share.
Good stuff.
John? John?
Yes.
Hi. I just want to echo, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to echo what Michael just said about our own success and the clues that we get. Over the weekend, I received an email from an agent from New Jersey, from Coldwell Bankers, because I have door knocked at her mother's house, and now she's getting ready to sell. and it was incredible. And so that is telling me, it's giving me clues that what I have done, door knocking, prospecting, when I do it, I do have a system, and I have to recognize that I didn't really follow up too much with her because she had told me she was going to talk to her daughter. So the fact that I received that email, I have a very nice conversation with this agent. So is telling me, is kind of giving me a clue that what I have done, it is success. So I have to continue and start doing it and be more persistent in what I have done. And from this phone call, this referral is going to be not only a sale, it's a purchase too. So it was incredible.
Love it.
I'm very grateful for that agent. Of course, I am going to do my very best to put her in contact with someone, team leader near where she is and all that.
Love it. Yes, Day. Thank you. I love that. And you know, when I say sometimes the answers are right in front of you, I mean, holy cow, it's obvious, guys, just pay attention. I get a message in the chat from Shirley Robinson. Where is she? I'm gonna look, I'm gonna find her. She's somewhere in this picture. Shirley, where'd you go?
She was hiding.
I know you're here.
I'm here, John.
There she is. So Shirley sends me in the chat, John, consider taking your book to Office Depot and ask them to make it into a spiral. Well, duh. It was right there in front of me. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, John. Why didn't you think of that? Shirley, I will do that today. Thank you for that. Because literally I've been dealing with this book falling apart in front of me. I mean, it's like in 4 or 5 different pieces, right? And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. Yeah, there's the answer right in front of you, John. Oh my gosh. All right, it's 9:02. I appreciate you guys. I value your time. I really do. You show up for this call every day, and that means a lot to me. It's time to get to work.
What is work? Work is 20 conversations a day, not 18, not 19, not 17. When I have 17 conversations, because it's close enough, I have settled. The 18th conversation could have been $1 million listing that I did not get, and I never knew because I never made the call. Do not settle. Go, Chandra.
Purpose of the call is to make care calls, not sales calls. Always lead with gratitude. Remember to say, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. Bring value to every single conversation. Go, Diane.
Every day and every conversation, focus on getting one face-to-face appointment with someone that wants to sell real estate, getting a referral, adding one person to my database. Go, Shoshana. Set non-negotiable standards. Live up to those standards. 20 conversations a day is a standard. One face-to-face appointment per day is a standard. Adding one person to my database every single day is a standard. Find someone today that is thinking of buying or selling real estate, whether it's 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. It does not matter because I will need listings and buyers a year from now. I am looking for opportunity, period. Not opportunity today, opportunity, period.
Because I have entered those 250 people into my pipeline, I follow up with them forever because I reject rejection. No is not a word that lives in my vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Because I have followed up every single day, I have created emotional proximity. People do not change their minds. They make a new decision based on new information. And since I have emotional proximity, when they make a new decision, they hired me. I keep calling because success is absolutely guaranteed. Make it a great day.
Awesome job. Awesome job. You guys rock. I appreciate you. I hope you got value from today's call. I hope that it's something that you're able to use in your personal life and your professional life in order to grow, in order to move the needle and get just a little bit better today. And you're on a journey with a destination that is assured. Make it a great day, everybody.
Thank you, John.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. Bye,
Great day.
everybody.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure.